Hello and welcome back to another session of Late Night Games. I'm your host Paul, and joining me is Dave.
Hi!
Tonight we are playing Shogun 2 Total War, but we're not actually playing tonight. We're doing a recap, as the audio on about 3 hours worth of gameplay was completely destroyed, foobarred, unrecognizable, no good. That being said, we've taken the general idea of what went on for those 3 hours, because it was a fairly slow set of events, and put it together here for you so we can just explain what had happened and go over things with you. So we're starting off in Dave's turn, but as always, my camera is the one in control, so I'm wandering around, checking Dave as he moves his troops around. Where we had left off, we had just taken over Fukushima in an epic battle that was last episode.
And it was quite the epic battle. I think we could have fought it a little bit better, but that's neither here nor there. And if you remember correctly, we were discussing our plan to stab the Ikko Ikki in the back, and I was actually just about to take over the weakened Takeda's final province.
While Dave was moving his troops around, I was scoping out the Sato province. As you know, I have had my eye on this province for quite some time.
Yes, valuable gold. It's one of 3 provinces in the game that has gold. But here's just a slightly fast-forwarded, easy battle that I'm about to win to take out the Takeda once and for all.
Yes, normally we wouldn't tell you he's about to win before the battle starts, but, well, he outnumbers them like 20 to 2.
20 to 2 or 10 to 1. They pretty much have no chance. Unless I told my troops to put their weapons down and stand there and get killed. And that would be some loyal troops.
And take a bow to the face. That's what it's all about. Now, the enemy, knowing that he doesn't have much chance, immediately rushes Dave. A bold move that leads to getting into combat with Dave's archer units, and then very quickly dying and running away.
Yes.
Now, they're running like spastastic little ants right now, but that's because this is sped up and I was trying to follow them as they ran away. Dave also sent his general after them, which you can see running in the top corner of the screen, just barely running past as this unit gets rained upon. Unfortunately, he doesn't manage to catch up. We chase him, and that's as far as he gets when the enemy now is off the screen. So we just kind of stare at Dave's general for a second and then zip on back.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One guy left.
Now look at him dodge like a pro. This man's got some serious Gangnam style going on. He's like, no, you cannot hit me. I will run. I will escape. You can never get me. And he is dodging every bloody arrow fired at him.
He's actually trained in Gunkata, or the previous version known as Bokata. That's why he couldn't get hit. But he doesn't realize there are archers waiting for him where he's running to. He's completely oblivious. He's kind of checking stuff out. I'm just gonna run over here. And
focus on that! And there he drops.
And he's dead.
Yep.
And that's a win.
And that's the end of that match. It was a decisive victory. Dave suffered maybe 2 units lost total, I'd guess, with the archers that fought the spearmen before the spearmen ran off like little sissy pansy boys they were. And that marks the end of the Takeda clan, which Dave has been at war with for quite some time.
Yes. And now, at this point in the game, I'm still under a treaty with the Ikko Ikki, so I can't attack them right away. I'm actually being told by the game's menu that I have to wait another 8 or 9 turns before I can attack them without damaging my honor, thus potentially endangering my trade agreements with the rest of the clans in Japan.
Now, as Dave's trade agreements have been my primary source of income recently, as well as his, obviously, this is something we do want to try and keep intact. Dave, throughout these sessions, as well as for a few episodes prior, I don't know how much you guys have already seen of that, but he would randomly enter diplomacy with me, usually at the beginning of an episode, and give me, what is it, 1/7 of your current treasury?
Yeah, 1/7 of the current treasury, so I think the highest amount was 8,000 koku. And if you're just joining us also, the koku are the measurement of rice that it would take to feed a single man for a year. So, probably worth quite a bit of money, but that's the amount of money it would take to buy that much koku. Or rice, that's what a koku is, and that's what the unit of money is in this game, and in the previous Shogun Total War as well.
Now, as you can see, I'm just going through the newly acquired Fukushima Castle and purchasing some buildings, spending some of the koku that Dave has so generously given me, and taking a look at my troops that have survived after the siege. As you saw last time, most of my units did manage to survive, even though they were greatly injured.
Unlike me, whose army was almost decimated. I think I had 10 units, and I was down to 4 at the end.
That's more than decimated, Dave. The term decimate, for those who are unaware, means to lose 1/10.
Alright, so it was 6 decimated.
What would 6 be? A sept?
No, that's 7. Hex.
Yeah, your army was hexamated.
1/6? No, that would be 1/6 when it was 6/10. So it would be hexadecimated.
Well, decimated is 10%.
Yeah. So hexa, 6 times, decimated. I don't know. Could work.
Yes, but either way, Dave was far more than just decimated.
Yeah. What Paul's doing here is because the Ikko Ikki are blocking... Oh.
No, that's later, Dave.
My bad. He's just checking on his trade routes. We'll pretend nothing happened there.
At this point in the game, my main focus is trying to get as many... Basically making sure I've got all the buildings I need, where I need them, when I need them. And I'm trying to amass an army to take on Sato Island. As Sato currently is the final stronghold of Hanma, Hanma has a lot of forces there, and it's going to take a full stack army to take them down. So, right there, what I was building is a Buddhist temple, which, with the addition of the monastery that province has naturally, will allow me to train some highly advanced bow warrior monks eventually, which is what I'm working to in the Uzan province.
Yes. Just on the subject, when does a dodecahedron become a circle? Because they're pretty friggin' close. Wouldn't you agree? And Paul, in Ugo province, we're just showing here that Paul has disease in Ugo province, which means that he loses a bit of his wealth and people become a little less happy.
Now, as you can see here, this is where we started, and in a moment you'll notice that a small chunk of green will expand in the middle of Dave's territory, which is showing where we have expanded thus far and the Hatakeyama have been defeated. I would have really liked to show more of the green and blue expanding, but as I said, these were a fairly slow amount of episodes, mainly because at this point, neither Dave nor I are willing to make the move to attack the Ikko Ikki yet. So we spent probably about 6 turns in the game just dancing around, making preparations and getting everything in place for our next move. We didn't want to move too hastily because we did just finish 2 major wars. Dave against the Hoju and Takeda, and me against the Hanma and the Hatakeyama.
Yes. And I think at this point Paul is still preparing for an assault on Sato Island, which should be a relatively easy battle for him, or easy done thing, but we'll have to see what happens.
It's just going to take a lot of troops, and getting them into a position where I can put them in a boat and ferry them over safely is what my current challenge is. One of the things I was doing at the ports earlier that Dave saw me go into my trading boat was to get some boats built. Because currently the only navy I have is the small amount that's blockading the port.
Yes. But soon it will be huzzah, as Paul would say, and he'll do the attack, hopefully.
It's almost time to banzai!
Now that's the Hattori tribe, otherwise known as the dark black-brown color.
There's a backstory to that. Dave calls it gray. I mentioned that it was the brownish black dark color that's to the east of Dave and the Ikko Ikki. Dave being the white, Ikko Ikki being the gold color, and myself being the massive chunk of blue. This is there. Dave just gave me 4,000 koku, so that was one of the payments we were mentioning. And here my armies are attempting to unite, all gathering and building up. Quite a nice little force being built.
And as you can see, his monastery is being built now in the province with the holy site. And soon he'll have bow warrior monks to add to his forces.
Bow warrior monks being desirable because they have the longest range aside from the bow hero of any bow unit.
Yes, and with the bow hero, even if you have the technology to create them, it's a unit of, I believe, 15 or 20 archers, and you can only have one at a time. You can't have more than one bow hero unit, or any hero unit for that matter.
Because it's a hero. That's like saying you want to build an entire army of Kenshin, but there's only one Hitokiri Batosai. You cannot build an army of a single man, for that single man is an army in himself.
Yeah, but what if the Japanese had cloning technology?
Well, they do, just not yet.
Ah. So I suppose they could exhume the fictitious character Kenshin and then clone him. That would be possible. Then
now here was something that caught me a little off guard. The Ikko Ikki just stormed Sato Island and completely raped the Hanma forces before I got a chance to get over there. At this point, my best bet is to make peace with Hanma, which I believe between my turn, my last turn and Dave's current turn, one of the bits that were skipped over was the Hanma asking if I would be peaceful with them, and I accepted their vassalship, as they were pretty badly damaged, and vassalship, they pay me a little bit of money. Well, I convinced them to pay me a little bit of money. So, with that money I got from them just before Sato Island is completely overrun by Ikko Ikki, that was where we went from there. Now, since I am currently vassaling with Hanma, I was hoping that would be enough to drive Ikko Ikki away, realizing that they're about to attack one of my vassals.
Yeah.
Which is essentially attacking me.
But they didn't see it that way.
No. Within a few minutes, we're going to see Ikko Ikki completely take over Sato Island, leaving me little choice but to abandon hope of taking it at this moment. For if I move a large... My initial strategy was move all my forces to Sato Island, destroy it, and then evacuate my soldiers back to the mainland. If I do that right now, then I would be leaving the entire mainland undefended and be declaring war against someone who's right on my next door.
Not a good move at this point, especially because I still can't attack them without damaging my honor. So it would be a bad move for both of us for him to do that at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
However, as they are his vassal, Paul, what was it that you did?
You'll see what I did, because it hasn't happened yet.
Yes.
It's still your turn. On my turn is when I make my move towards the Ikko Ikki and basically punt them for their transgressions. I've just mastered Way of the Spear and negotiated peace with the Hanma, as I had mentioned. and I'm also checking my war. Well, I was checking my masteries. Now, I chose at this point to attack the Ikko Ikki's naval fleet. I also chose not to drag Tokugawa into this, which is Dave. And here's where I noticed that, yes, I have more... Oh, Dave, I totally didn't notice that.
What?
In that battle option, I could have fought with the Hanma at my side.
And you could have won.
But I didn't notice that the Hanma were joining me, and I saw the black ship, which was there. The black ship is fairly devastating. So instead, I took my weakened ships and attacked a larger number of his ships. A folly move if auto-resolved, but I actually did play this battle out. And it took a while, a long while, and was a very hard-to-win battle. But I won it, as you can see. Not only did I win it, but I captured 7 of his boats, increasing the size of my fleet dramatically and giving me a little bit more of a naval edge.
Yes. But the boats are heavily damaged, so what will need to happen is Paul will need to get them to a port to...
Actually, none of those boats are
them.
physically damaged, the ones I captured, just their units, because I boarded them. I never actually fired a single arrow that entire battle, remember?
Well, you did fire some arrows.
Well,
in
any worth mentioning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could have, with the assistance of Hanma, probably taken the Black Pearl. Or the Black Ship. And I didn't notice that during the initial game playthrough. Oh well, live and learn.
Live and let die, my friend. Live and let die.
Bow, ba-dow, bow. Bow, ba-dow, bow.
Yes, the Beatles.
Ba-da-bow.
You can just see an image here of myself. My ninja is just scouting out the territory. And you can see my army hiding in the forest just to the south of the Ikko Ikki. If he did actually attack me there, I would then be able to attack him in an ambush formation, where he has no choice of how to place his armies, and I essentially get an area surrounding him to attack him with. Now, what I mentioned earlier was, on a previous turn, the Ikko Ikki had actually barricaded Paul's port, and that's why he moved his trade ships out of there. And just an overview of our territory here. Shimotsuke is a target for me.
Hang on, did you just say Live and Let Die was Beatles?
Yeah?
What is wrong with you, Dave?
Don't talk to me like that. I appreciate that not.
Live and Let Die was initially composed by Paul McCartney and I believe his wife Linda McCartney. And it was performed by Paul's band Wings. However, the most popularized version is the cover of it done by Guns N' Roses.
Yes. I didn't know it was Paul McCartney. I thought it was originally a Beatles song. But you do learn something new every day.
That took me a few seconds to clue in and go, wait, what? Did you, what?
In all fairness, Paul McCartney was a Beatle.
He was.
Some would even argue still is a Beatle.
In some ways, yes, but the fact that it was written by a Beatle does not mean it is a Beatles song, as it was never performed by the Beatles. It was performed by Wings.
Fair enough. I think for entertainment value, I'm not going to continue the argument.
It's kind of like saying if one of those more popular artists write music that Justin Bieber sings, it's not them singing. It's still the atrocity that is Justin Bieber who is singing.
Yes. Yes. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, this interlude of random banter appears to have come at a perfect time because I wasn't actually moving the camera around. I have no idea what Dave and I were talking about at this point. Probably... Dave just
discussing
doing what he was doing.
Yeah, probably just moving troops around, training new armies, and that kind of stuff. But we'll have to see how we go with that. If that makes no sense, so yeah.
Now, as you can see, I have a port blockaded with my boats. Meanwhile, they have my port blockaded. Since my port's blockaded, I can't repair on my own boats. So what my idea was at this point, and the strategy I'm currently starting to work towards at this time, is keep them blockaded so they can't produce more boats. And as soon as I take over this province, the port becomes mine, and I can then repair all my boats and have a fully functional Navy.
Death Navy.
That would be
general,
an awesome metal band. Death Navy. Davy's Death Navy.
Davy's Death Navy. That would be pretty interesting. If I ever start a metal band, I might consider that as a name. Davy's Death Navy.
Yes.
Of course, I might get confused with Davy from the Monkees, and that wouldn't be very good.
Hey, hey, we're the monkeys. We'll just monkey around. Yeah, you know. Oh, there's my bow warrior monks that I started training oh so long ago. Or working towards oh so long ago.
As you can see, this is a really abridged version of the episodes. It's a shame, though, because the audio was really, really entertaining. Or we'll go with that.
I think by the time we got to this episode, I was about 8 beers in, and it was about 4 a.m. my time.
I think I was about 6 beers in, and it was probably about 8 p.m., so I had probably been drinking all afternoon. It probably would have been really fun, but, you know, that's them's the breaks, I guess. Yes, late night games plus beer. You should try it sometime. On that note also, just like to say thanks for tuning in. We hope you're liking this as much as we're enjoying playing it and even commenting on it. You know, you can always comment and let us know if we're doing something that you don't like, if there's something we do that you do like, etc. Also, at the end of the video, there'll be links to subscribe, find us on Twitter, definitely, so take a look. And Paul's just scouted out Ichigo and decided that the army he's taken isn't big enough. I think on his next turn he'll move away to join with some other troops to take out the Ichigo province.
Yeah. My eventual decision is to... First, I'm taking the bow warrior monks that I just built and moving them down to reinforce my army down below. As well, there is the very large army that I have off to the south, right there. That army is going to probably on either this turn or my next turn be split into 2 armies, sending the larger unit to the southwest and a smaller contingency up to the north. The smaller contingency going to the north will be joined by the army already up there to eventually create a sizable force able to crush the Ikko Ikki from their north province, but also be able to push them out along the southern borders as well. What I want to do here is to push both borders equally so they can't swoop around on the opposite border and take me out from surprise. Secondly, by pushing my borders evenly, I reduce the amount of contact between Ikko Ikki and Dave, so that when Dave does go to strike against them, he doesn't have to worry as much about them being on his borders.
Yeah, because if you look along my northern border, he has several provinces connected to mine, so it makes it difficult to attack and defend at the same time, but with Paul's help it'll make it a lot easier.
And as I said, these episodes were a lot of tedious back-end management and preparation. We spent several years moving around, but those several years are what allowed us to get to the point we're at now and be able to prepare ourselves for the upcoming battles ahead.
Yes. I feel like I have to say several in-game years. We didn't actually spend years playing the game and turn it into a short video. That would be impressive, though. We'd probably have to move our comment speed up a little bit to be able to describe what's going on, I think.
Yes. When I say years, I'm referring to in-game years. Each year in a game is 4 turns, because a turn is a season, and a year has 4 seasons in it, so long as you exist on planet Earth.
Well, outside of tropical and or subtropical areas, because I was actually a week and a half ago, I was in Darwin, sorry, 2 weeks ago, I was in Darwin, which is in the Northern Territory of Australia, and when I asked my friend who lived there that I was going to visit, so is it summer? He said, no, it's the wet season. And I said, okay, so does that mean it's warm or cold? He said, it's hot. It's always hot. And the seasons are wet and dry. So that's what it's like tropical, in kind of tropical areas.
In Canada, we have crummy, winter, roll up the rim, and construction as our 4 seasons.
Yes. Roll Up the Rim is one of the ones that I miss the most, I'd say. Because Roll Up the Rim usually happens, and then after that, you know, the hockey playoffs are on and all that kind of stuff. All that kind of good stuff.
Roll Up the Rim just started 2 weeks ago, Dave. I actually made reference to it on Friday on my vlog.
Oh, okay. Have you been keeping a tally of your Roll Up the Rims?
I haven't been keeping a tally of my losses, as I have too many losses. But I have won 2 coffees so far. But this is where we're going to end the video. Next time we will continue to push forward against the Ikko Ikki and possibly even get into some battles. But thank you for tuning in. As always, you can reach us on Facebook or Twitter and in the comment section down below. Subscribe to this channel to keep up to date on all our future releases. And hit a like if you like what you're seeing. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Take care now.